Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Last time we went through the area and we got
Victory
Clerk Court from out here. He was a freak who really liked to catalog everything, even asking me to get undressed. There he is. Weirdo. And we finally convinced him to come with us back to the Adeptus Arbites so we could get a final inventory and we can finally get off this planet and bring everything to Dargonus. Problem is, he also tried to get us killed. His point was because... No, don't go on.
I help others better themselves by wholeheartedly humiliating them at every step.
Okay. His whole thing was like, I'm gonna get the rogue trader killed by a bunch of like burrowing bug things so I can keep cataloging everything for years and decades, but nope. We survived and we convinced him to, hey, knock that off. So now we are gonna report back to the Adeptus Arbites and see if we can finally get off Tethys. I think that's the name. It looks like our shuttle. Rogue Trader, we are now at the final stage of the process. Consequently, your shuttle is finally able to maneuver around and land. As soon as the matter of the inventory is settled, you will be free to depart. Here's your clerk. What next? We do not have much left to load. The bulk of it is already on the barges, and the rest is being delivered automatically. We merely need to decide what to do with the living tithe. They have bred irresponsibility. They have bred irresponsibility and are now twice as numerous as before. What do you mean they have bred? They banged! Those guardsmen have been on Lethus for years, if not decades, and new ones keep arriving all the time. They disregard regulations, form clans, start families, and procreate. Such are the pernicious consequences of their aimless existence, and the proof of their lack of fortitude. They are people, not a living tithe. Take everyone. If there is not enough room, throw out something rotten. Then it is settled. Your shuttle is ready to depart. We will take care of Watcher of Lethus. Query. Invitation to the Von Valancius orbital station. Uploading coordinates into the shuttle's central cogitator. Complete. Purpose. Finalizing the Oblivion Directive. We're gonna blow it up still? Tarry not, offspring. If you delay, you will be blown up with all of your extraneous servants or subjects. Blast it. Who are you? Answers. Yes, we have always had a thirst for knowledge. I will satisfy your curiosity when you come to me. I need to know if you have what it takes to see this through. Now hurry, this world will soon cease to exist. Why are we blowing it up? We have everything. We still don't... Just because we take everything off doesn't mean we still gotta blow it up. The augurs are recording anomalous seismic activity. Someone has started arming the cyclonic bombs in the battles of Lethus. The machine spirits are rejecting all counter litanies. The planet is done for. We cannot stop this. I demand an explanation, Rogue Trader. Why can't we block the Oblivion? Who is your accomplice? Here comes my favorite part. I have no idea. I'm just as clueless as you. Allow me to explain. You seized the tithe by somehow obtaining both the Marshal's and the Administratum's authorizations. Then, an accomplice contacted you and tricked the machine spirits into activating the destruction of the world with cyclonic bombs. Bombs delivered years ago from a Von Valancius world, I should add. All that is left to do is get away and cover your tracks. Did I miss anything? Enough, Jaeger! Not only are your efforts not helping to protect the tithe, they are actually hurting the cause. Lay down your weapons before you make one final mistake. I see you no longer serve the Lex Imperialis, but the interests of a rogue trader. Could we perhaps try to avoid bloodshed? That depends entirely on you and what you are about to tell me. By all means, converse away. That will only increase your chances of meeting an early agreement. Yeah, I have a proposal that will satisfy everyone. I'll find out who caused this commotion and why, and then when we travel to Dargonus and go before the Marshal together. Your words could almost be construed as aiding the investigation. You'll have to be content yourself. That could be it. Did you hear the strange noises on the Vox line? That is what intercepted transmissions sound like. Why would one of my servants do that? Perhaps someone is trying to frame you, or there are even more convoluted motives involved. I see no need to further confrontation. Consider the issue settled for now. We will board your flagship, and you will investigate the identity of the perpetrator. Let's return to this matter in the Marshal's presence on Dargonus.
None shall stand in my way.
Is there anything else I need before this plant gets blown? Okay, we're gone. I'm trying to think who that would be. It wouldn't be the Marshal, would it? Maybe a pirate? I have no idea. What is this? It's a servitor. Identification, Rogue Trader Von Valancius, initiating the final stage of the Oblivion Directive. You have arrived at last, Offspring. At last, everything ends. Go on, take the last step. Confirm the execution of the directive, and in so doing, destroy Lethus, take its riches, and free me from this unbearable vigil. What is going on now? You really do not know? Did she choose not to tell you, or did she not get the chance? It doesn't matter anymore. Yours is the blood of the dynasty, and so I am compelled to give you this answer. Supreme Ordinance, the arrival of the Von Valancius dynasty with the purpose of the complete extraction of the tithe, triggers the immediate activation of the Oblivion Directive by the Watcher of Lethus. At the moment of the directive's activation, the machine spirits of the initiation systems are bound into Prometheus Proxima class Cogni shackles. The Cogni shackles cannot be removed by any means. The directive guarantees the Rogue Trader's acquisition of the planet's assets and the destruction of Lethus, presented as being caused by the actions of the enemies of humanity. So Lady Theodora intended to steal the tithe from the start. She arranged the world's destruction to cover her tracks, installed a servant to keep an eye on things, and even made a contingency plan in case of her own death. All she needed was an opportune moment like this one. With the expanse being torn apart, the planet's death looks convincing. Abort it. I must refuse. The Supreme Ordinance states that if the head of the dynasty has declared the tithe's execution, I am to destroy the planet. You are the one who announced to the arbiters that you were taking the tithe with you. The directive has been initiated and the Cogni shackles placed. It cannot be stopped. What if I simply kill you? Then you will change nothing. The directive cannot be stopped. The Cogni shackles, once applied to the initiation systems, are unbreakable. Accept your fate, offspring. I accepted mine long ago. Were you the one who intruded on my conversation with Vigdis prior to our landing on Lethus? Yes, I needed to exchange codes with the flagship in order to identify the vessel and its owner. I had to sift through onboard communication channels and systems to verify the new Lord Captain's data and his right to be one. You want me to claim the tithe for my own? I have long since been robbed of the luxury of freely expressing my thoughts. I'm merely quoting Theodora's plan. This qualifies as for a culprit's confession, except the culprit herself is dead, and judging by the creature would be pointless. Still, we must decide what to do next. If the Marshal learns the truth, it will make things difficult for everyone. It is better that you redress Theodore's crime by sending part of the tithe to support the afflicted worlds of the Expanse and delivering the rest to the Administratum. So you're proposing we steal it? Before that conversation we had, I would have considered it a crime myself, but with the Expanse burning and after witnessing every shade of absurdity on Lethus, my opinion has changed. Helping the distressed planets is an investment in the future, a future which we may not live to see if we don't look after the people. Besides, how are we to collect new tithes without those who labor for the good of the Imperium? I do agree. Like I've been saying this whole time, you don't need to be a douchebag when you're in power, because think of it, the people give you the power, and if you upset them or kill too many of them or whatever, they eventually revolt, or they just say that's enough and they just stop doing anything. Both are bad. I agree. Good. I've had enough complications for one mission. I have more questions. Are you a servitor or something different? Something entirely different, offspring. A prisoner of my own mind and these machines. Do not let my manner of speech deceive you. I am only following the orders vested in me. The part of my brain that controls my ability to converse and holds the scraps of my personality was severed from my volition centers and locked into a cage of functions and limitations. So you can think for yourself? Calling it thinking would be an overstatement. Imagine a corridor with all the doors locked except for one or two. That would be my consciousness. Yes, a dark, suffocating corridor with fading pictures of memory and nail scratches on the walls. You want death. That is not typical for thralls who have no will of their own. What does it matter? What I crave if I am doomed to follow orders. Yes, I need you to complete the Oblivion Directive and trigger the station's shutdown so that I can be set free at last. And yet, in all these years, I have done nothing to bring my death closer. I can wait an eternity longer, suffering but infallibly obedient. Why were you consigned to such a terrible fate? I was a threat to Theodora's rule, and she had my brain dissected. A sophisticated sentence to be humiliated, to live in suffering, yet to continue to serve the dynasty perfectly harmless. Absorb this lesson. That is how a rogue trader metes out punishment. Could I take him with me? I would like a servant like you. So you could brag about it to Winterscale at banquets? You are out of luck. There is an entire station attached to me. It supplies me with power, and massive computing modules lie below. Such is the price that you might make small talk with me. Such a waste of sacred current of the sacred current of the motive force is unacceptable. I demand the immediate cessation of this unit's vital processes without the right to atone for its personal inefficiency. Why do you call me offspring? What else should I call you? The heir of the dynasty's throne, a youngling descendant. You may have grown used to people prostrating themselves before you, but to me you were just a child. Who are you? That is one question I cannot answer. Theodora did not wish for anyone to learn the name of he who becomes the Watcher of Lethus. Ooh. Let's see if we can expand your privileges. Name: Darius von Valancius. Transformed on the order of his younger sister Theodora. So you were her brother. How could she have a brother? Everyone would know you. Had I been a legitimate child, yes, they would have written my name in gold into the dynasty's chronicle. However, my mother's origin, as well as certain other circumstances, were damaging for House von Valancius, and so my inclusion into the family hit a snag. When Theodora was young, I was brought to Dargonis to be trained for the role of seneschal. When she became the rogue trader, she refused to recognize me as her kin. She needed an obedient servant who wouldn't challenge her rule. Had I behaved myself, perhaps she would have condescended to call me her brother and heir on her deathbed. Why were you punished? As her senior relative and direct heir, I could lay claim to the throne. And I did. I intended to kill her and declare a search for her successor. And while it went on, to enter the warrant chamber and assume the rogue trader's title by right of blood. Theodora exposed my plan, executed anyone who would have took part in the conspiracy, and turned me over to her tech priests. Sisters, such maddening creatures. At least they caused the monkey just as much trouble. Why come up with such an elaborate punishment? At first I thought Theodora was going to pay me visits so that she could gloat, but she never once appeared on the station. I have a different explanation now. For a von Valancius, even punishment must befit his status, with a gilded prison and one-of-a-kind augmetics, so as to not have a pathetic servitor mar the dynasty's image. You have yet to ask me how your sister died. I cannot ask questions about anything unrelated to my function. Now that you have brought it up yourself, however, no, I do not want to know. If I had heard that she had died by chance at the hands of an unworthy opponent, I would have been gravely disappointed. After all, I have always solaced myself by believing that Theodora was someone extraordinary, and only because of this she was able to beat me. We still don't... Did we learn how she died? Was it... Voigtveer? Or was it something else? Anyway, I've decided a portion of the tithe will remain with me, and I'll see to it that it finds its way to the worlds affected by the crisis. You are a better person than Theodora was. Do not take that as a compliment. It is an extremely detrimental quality for a rogue trader. The rogue trader has spoken. The barges will go where he has decreed, and the Watcher of Lethus has served his purpose. I had hoped that I would feel relief. I know that it's there, locked inside my protocols, and she wanted me to know and to not feel. And he died. Oh my god. Exterminatus! Holy crap! I think you got him. Holy crap.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Jesus.
I sense something nearby.
Imagine just blowing up an entire planet. That's insane. Like, I don't know how the people at Warhammer come up with this stuff. It's crazy. At the start of the wearer's turn, if there are more enemies than allies in combat, the wearer deals more damage with melee weapons. Lord Captain, your immediate intervention is required. The barges you sent to Dargonis have been attacked by enemy ships that emerged from the warp. What are they? They have no identifying marks, and the signatures are unreadable. All I can tell you is that they are of Imperial construction. Sounds like it might be pirates if they don't have marks on them. How did they find us? The system's coordinates are classified. At present, we do not know, but we are already working on it. I'm coming. Not that way. One second. Big boys. God, they're really doing a lot of damage. That. Holy cow. Universe class mass conveyor. I hope these things have weapons on them. Otherwise, I can wipe these guys out. We just might lose a ship or two if they keep this up. Okay. Boop, boop. Is this the bombers? No, I want the wraith ones. This guy can come over there and deal with those. Then I'm just gonna go this way. Here's a good spot.
The time has come. Them.
Yeah, you're not getting away, bruh.
Lay in the course. Macro cannon, volley! Fire right now!
Okay. God, this sound design's so good. Sure. Right side shields. more? Oh no. Come on.
Annihilate!
Okay.
Leave the hull strewn across the star!
Then wrap around here, and we're gonna go this way now. If I go one to the right, I think I can just hit this guy. Ah, it's Pope. I can't do nothing. Okay. That's so cool seeing the planet blow up underneath. It's just out of range. Okay, we didn't go right for that guy there. How'd you miss something that big? How are you missing something that big? Holy cow. Yeah, his interceptors are a problem. I'm gonna wait to deploy those last second.
Onward! Macro cannon! Volley! The time has come. Unleash!
You see? Okay.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars! This one's going down.
Shield the front. And then Yep. Come on, guys. Dang. Got some big boys now. Okay. Come on, guys. So are we just leading them to the end of the map, or do we just gotta survive the waves as they move forward, but we're not leading them to the end of the stage?
Macro cannon, volley!
I revel the spectacle of their glittering ruin.
Take out these. Yeah. There we go. We're making some moves. I'm gonna go here so I'm not in the way. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here. No, I'm gonna jump. I'll jump. My whole job is to get rid of that guy. Okay, got their guys coming out. And go here, then jump. Then this. Open you up to attack from that side.
Fire the lance batteries! Breach in our enemy's defenses!
Dang. But if I scooch. Yep.
Fire right now!
not hesitate. Show no mercy.
Yeah, let's just get rid of this guy.
No escape pods detected. No emergency beacon detected. No survivors detected.
Okay, then I'm gonna do this. For, where is it? This. To go, and I can shield my right side because I'm gonna move there, I think. No, I'm gonna shoot.
Onward!
Shield my back. Left or back? Which is more damage right now? Left.
Leave the hull strewn across the stars!
They are exposed. Unleash your weaponry.
Fire right now!
Which one should I take out? I'm thinking this one.
Macro cannon! Volley!
The impure tremble.
There you go. They're coming back to refuel. I'm just gonna get closer to refuel. I could kill this guy quickly. This guy in the back is causing problems. Okay. You're not getting away.
None will lament their demise.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars!
Sharp turn here.
Lay in the course. Bleed them. An opportunity to exploit. Set the course.
In case they do come in, be my right. Why are you guys having such trouble refueling? Yeah, it's just this guy in the back now causing troubles. I think this question mark is their escape route. What does this do? Step out of your way. Make sure I'm out of your way. And then front. He's dead next turn. These guys are having a hard time coming back for a refuel, I guess. Yep, called it front. Yep, that's their endpoint.
Annihilate! Fire the last batteries.
Detecting a vulnerability in the enemy's defenses.
You are losing control.
Nice.
Understand your limits.
Let's go! Sorry that took so long. All enemies are dead. When will these upstarts get the message? You attack a rogue trader, you'll be floating in the void like a dead rat in a lower deck soup. Who were they? Well coordinated, well equipped, signatures encrypted. Those weren't some nameless void rabble, they were professionals, mercenaries, Lord Captain. How did they know where they were? Some of them had infiltrated the crew, a dozen voidsmen, a few officers, and thrown even one astropath. That eyeless scumbag sent his mates the system's coordinates when we arrived. Their ships must have been patrolling this region in hopes of discovering Lethus. Where are they? I wish to interrogate them. The Master-at-Arms handled their interrogation personally, and she managed to break the most resilient ones. In short, we learned that they wanted to destroy part of the tithe and retreat. Strange behavior for pirates, wouldn't you agree? The last one spat out a cryptic warning along with his entrails. By the time you get back to Dargonis, it will be too late. I don't know what that means exactly. Were those the, mercenaries that, what's her name, called in? The Fangs of something? The Fangs of the Expanse? I forget their names. What of the barges? Successfully translated into warp, and they're on their way to designated coordinates. We're moving out. Marshal Strauss's must be told what happened here. What do you mean it's gonna be too late? I'm a little concerned by that. Let's see. More scrap from destroyed ships could be good for upgrades and healing. That's another maneuverable thing. Turn a 45 or 90 degree, depending on maneuverability. If the enemy ship has suffered hull damage, this abrupt turn causes damage. Oh, so you make someone else make a turn, and it can expose angles as well as make them take damage. That's smart. I like that. And then this, I'm thinking scrap, yeah. Because now we have enough for another hull upgrade. What do you mean it's gonna be too late? I'm concerned. Did I put bombs or people on it? What's wrong? Something's up. Nothing new. I don't like this. The barges carrying the tithe have been seized and are heading off in unknown directions. Multiple sources are voxing the flagships at once. I detect the signatures of several noble houses and the administratum. Who seized them? We are getting reports of it being ordered by the Adeptus Administratum. We have received several official forms to the effect that Dargonus' orbit is currently deemed unsafe for tithe storage due to an unspecified threat that has sprung up on the world in your absence. What do they want? The messages have no discernible structure or cause. Professions of loyalty, audience requests, even pleas for leniency. One thing is clear. Something has agitated the upper echelons of nobility. In other words, they are scared. What does the Administratum message say? You are requested to come to the Palace of Justice in person. The prefect speaks of a terrible heresy that is threatening the Von Valancius Protectorate. While you are away, steps were taken to prevent the spread of corruption. However, your presence is required to make a final decision. Prefect Volter will meet you in person for a confidential conversation. What does Solomar say? It appears you have no choice if you want to help your subjects. Although I don't like what is going on, I would advise you to go to the palace, if nothing else, to find out what you can do to protect your people. So basically, do I want to stop this corruption or go for the supplies? The supplies could help a lot of people, but also if I lose Dargonus, I'm done. Everything's screwed. Dargonus, the Von Valancius dynasty just goes into shambles. And if I lose all that, more of the expanse gets opened up to threats and everybody dies. I gotta go. Frick! Stupid Administratum. One second before I gotta check these. I was gone, I guess, for 7 days. Because of we gotta wait for everything to be packed up, so that's for people. I don't need that many people though. That's that. And then in these contracts, chemicals for plasteel, weapons for provisions. That's a good trade. A brave merchant ruined by his competitors intends to attack Curle, a flourishing world rich with fish and inhabited by a primitive people. The merchant intends to reward whoever provides assistance with this expedition with a share of the spoils. Should I do all these? Like, what's the worst that happens? Sure. A group of rebels from the void city of Caphestus 9 is looking for someone who could supply them with deadly chemicals to perpetrate an attack against the station's satrap. Should their request be satisfied, it will soon be time to send crews of void cutters to salvage the station and what remains of the metal husk. What's a satrap? Just curious, I don't know that term. Whoop. Satrap. A specific title. It's a leader of the Minotaurs. Wait, whoa. Are we sure? Oh, it's just a leader in general. I was like, if we're killing a Minotaur, oh boy, oh, we do not want that. But fine. The powerful governor of the orbital palace station of Weta Weta has been sentenced to death by Lord Inquisitor Calcazar. Now is a good time to send agents to his domain to partake in dividing the late governor's fortunes, such as his phlogiston mines on the planet Kern. I completed 20 orders. Yippee! But now we're gonna go and deal with this heresy. Trying to think who I should bring. As much as I like Mirazai and Urliet, they technically don't need to be here because that doesn't concern them. So I'll take Heinrichs and Ballard. Maybe Cassia? Yeah, Cassia. Rogue Trader, welcome back to the Palace of Justice. What happened on Dargonis? What is the cause of the panic, and why this private conversation? This is why you are here. Is it not? To learn why the world is distressed, why the airs change with Vox transmissions? Any administrator worth their station would be concerned. Disruptions to established processes always lead to, well, no matter. Have you ever pondered the nature of heresy? Perhaps to your mind, heresy is merely limited to Xenos, Warpspawn, and Insurgents. But there are other heresies, whose existence is far more easily forgotten. Those of negligence, of avarice, of confusion and disorder. What are you getting at? In accordance with the amendment to Decree 64-98/DF issued by the Adeptus Administratum and the Adeptus Arbites, you stand accused of countless heresies that threaten the sacred tithe and the well-being of the Protectorate. All related statements have been formulated and evidence of your crimes registered. The proceedings will commence as soon as you and your accomplices present yourselves at the accused. A trial awaits you. This is some bullshit. Who do you think you are? I'm a servant and a votary of the Imperium's prosperity. I cannot stand idly by and watch you trample on the glorious legacy of your bloodline. This was all one carefully orchestrated spectacle, wasn't it? What? You wanted to go to Lethus yourself. A foolish mistake. Prefect, your impatience was too obvious. You feel confident that your comment got to her. I simply wish to do what you, as Theodora's successor, was supposed to do. Protect the sacred tithe. There is no point in trying to present my reasonable desire in a damning light. You spied on me. You knew of every word I said. How does it feel to sneak glances at one whom you could never hope to become? Your taunt hits its mark. An angry grimace passes over the prefect's face. She immediately recomposes herself, but it's too late. You saw how much your words have offended her, and she knows that you caught her reaction. Unsubstantiated conjecture mixed with an inflated sense of self-importance. I'm honored to do what my duty wherever his will commands me to be. You twisted my report on Thastra to paint me as a heretic. All I did was provide a summary of the results of your expedition, a summary stripped of dubious attributes such as declarations of good intentions and de-emphasized consequences. Bless me. Your only goal has been to get the tithe from Lethus. Not everyone is driven by greed and thrill-seeking. I see your position has clouded your mind. Regrettable, but unsurprising. Without due discipline in judgment and actions, it is only the most likely terminus. Your blatant attempts at manipulation were painful to observe. The crude work of a talentless old crone who thinks herself worthy of judging those who are superior to her in every regard. I am your protectorate's last hope at against the jaws of anarchy, irresponsibility, and complete unraveling. I alone can save this part of the Imperium that had the misfortune of falling into the hands of those whose only motivations are profit, excitement, and feeding their own egos. Escort the accused to his proper place. Try to attack him. Dang. They beat you to a draw. I tried. In the name of the God Emperor, the Von Valancius dynasty stands accused of betraying the Imperium. The trial is public so that all may see the rogue trader's heresies and know that status and power are no shield against righteous punishment. Marshal Strauss, you have the floor. State the list of crimes against the Lex Imperialis that will be examined here today. This is a stacked court. Resisting the justice of the Imperium. Conspiring to steal the sacred tithe. Undermining the legitimate authorities on an imperial world. Involving sorcery and damage to the tithe. Conceiving and executing plans to disrupt sector-wide tithe shipments, with the subsequent destruction of a strategically important planet. I'm gonna listen in silence. Let the record show that the defendant disregarded the opportunity given to him to repent, which only adds to the gravity of his guilt. We will proceed to the examination of the individual heresies committed by the defendant. Conspiring with the captain of the Heartless to steal the sacred tithe. Upon arriving on Rykad Minoris, the rogue trader aided Captain Sargona in loading the tithe onto his ship under the cover of a planetary riot. Later, he eliminated his accomplice using Adeptus Arbites forces led by Proctor Anthar. The Proctor attempted to appease the rogue trader's greed by offering the frigate known as the Heartless in exchange for the safety of the tithe. Then the rogue trader boarded the ship in an attempt to seize the tithe. His actions led to the death of a squad of arbitrators. Proctor Anthar alone survived the rogue trader's murderous ploy. He personally eliminated his accomplice Captain Sargona in order to destroy the evidence of his schemes. Do you have anything to say in your defense? You're talking nonsense. With all due respect for Solomorn's capabilities, if I had wanted to get rid of him and his arbitrators and steal the tithe, there's no way he could have stopped me. Attempting to threaten a rogue trader on his own vessel would indeed have been an imprudent choice. Let a new charge be added to the record. Attempting to manipulate an official. Marshal, I hope I do need to remind you of your duty. According to the calculation of the tithe transferred from the Heartless, the Administratum was short 3 units of volume. It is presumed that the rogue trader did not risk seizing more in the presence of the Proctor, but even 1 ounce unaccounted for makes the tithe incomplete. I hate this lady. Okay. I'm gonna leave this episode here. Next time we are gonna pick up and try not to get absolutely murdered and blackmailed by this witch of a lady. I knew I hated her from when we were trying to get the thing for what's her name, the princess lady, Jay. So yeah, wish me luck. Thank you guys for watching so far, and I hope you guys have a nice day.